Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the world. It's once again time for the WADcast, the Writers, Actors, Directors Podcast. This is episode number 126. I am one of your hosts. This is Josh, joined with me, as always, Luigi.
Luigi. First off, bitch, I've got the Mario cap somewhere.
You know, I was actually thinking about getting a Luigi cap for tonight. Then I thought maybe I should get a Wario cap instead. But then I thought that's not really
one of us.
Movie.
One of us went to Super Nintendo World this week.
Yeah, one of us lives in California,
and it was a monumental. That, along with the this, which allows you to hit the blocks where the coins come from. It was all a waste of money because it's such a new attraction that everyone and their mother came out. And I got no time to really just go and enjoy myself there. It was like a lot of kids. It's spring break out here too right now. So it's fun.
You're at spring break. We're getting ready to break for the summer.
I know. And I will be seeing you hopefully soon.
Hopefully.
There we go.
If you find time to...
Tickets are purchased.
Well, we already know you've come to town before, and you did it so quietly and discreetly.
Well, at that time, I was in town with Danielle for her graduation in Orlando. So we stayed, of all places, with my ex-girlfriend at the time, Jessica. And we stayed there for like 2 nights, and we went to Orlando after that. I really didn't have a lot of time to really see a lot of people. It was kind of like just in and out of Jacksonville Beach and then just gone. But now it's like more one of those deals where I'm in town for a week. It is my nephew's high school graduation. So while I'm in town, I'll be catching up with lots of faces I've not seen in a long time, seeing friends, family, other loved ones I've not seen in a very long time. So I'm looking forward to it. So that being the case, I'll be there for a minute, and I would definitely I invite you to come and hang out with me.
No, that's great. I get the invitation. You know, your friend and business partner. Yeah, I have an opportunity to hang out with you.
And you'd be the most welcome addition. So you can either take that or leave it, but you'd be the most welcome one. Hang out with you for the first time in a long time. Just, BS and play a little grab ass and, go from there. So let's see what happens. Let's just let loose. Lower our inhibitions for a little bit, man. You and me. Come on.
My inhibition shall never.
West Coast, East Coast, LA, Duval. Let's just come on. Let's just see what happens. Have a few drinks.
I think I found the subject for the WADcast that week. East Coast, West Coast podcast rivalries.
Oh, my God.
We both grab a microphone, set it up like it's an epic rap battle. And then, when it's time to start, instead of dropping a beat, a theme is played. And then we're like, hey, everybody, welcome to the show. I'm going to bring to you all of the awesome news from movies and actors and whatnot. And I'm going to do it in the most fly way. Drop mic. Beat that intro, fool.
So let me ask you this really quick. I'm going to ask this question before we get into tonight's topic. You are not as big of a Star Wars geek as I am, right? We've had my friend Shanna's sister on here, Kelly, who is Kelly Horan. You guys need to check her out. Amazing director, writer. But Kelly is to Shanna what you are to me, right? If I were to get too far into Star Wars folklore, you would be like, okay, that's cool.
Well, let me stop you right there real quick. Yeah. I think the extent of my deep dive into Star Wars lore extends directly to the original trilogy and to a lesser extent the prequels.
Yeah,
I guess the new trilogy as well and all the new movies. I watch everything, but when it comes to the extended universe of back in the day with all the novels and the comics and all that, it's there was a lot, and in fact, I'm gonna say that I was very happy when Disney was like, none of that counts now. It's like,
and I wasn't
cool.
Mara Jade. What? Oh God! When they got rid of Mara Jade, Luke Skywalker's wife, with her kids, like, oh God, there was so much lost with that storyline. Okay, I'm gonna get upset.
I did play the CCG.
Okay, but there are 3 codes. There is the Jedi Code, the Gray Code, and the Sith Code.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the Jedi Code is the most selfless, absolute selfless of all of them, right? Like the purists. These guys are like the monks. Okay. Then you have the Sith. The Sith are absolute, like all anarchy all the way. Like what's the best for them is the best for them. That's all there is to it. It's the rule of 2, only one master, one apprentice. Eventually, the apprentice overthrows the master, becomes the new master. They bring on a new apprentice, and wash, rinse, repeat. There's a whole cycle. Then you have the Gray Code. The Gray Code's like the in-between Jedi. People who kind of fell away from the Order, but they've not succumbed to the dark side, right? So when I mentioned earlier, it's because it's online shop, and I want to support mainly friends and family, because I think that's like something that's missing in the world today. We don't support our loved ones very often when it comes to like their business endeavors, right? I'd say it's a fair statement. You look at their posts on Facebook, you move on.
Looking at the places where people watch us from, yeah, I'm not seeing places where my family lives. So
yeah, me neither. I know my mom watches once in a while. I know that we have certain friends that watch it. Granted, okay.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to everything else, like fuck all if anyone else I really know watches it. But so I ordered this from her shop a little while back, and I got this today, like this evening, legitimately this evening. A whole thing about the Gray Code. This is a canvas print, beautifully printed. Now, I don't really give reviews on our show. I don't think I ever have about like actual things.
Yeah, nobody knows
like
how you feel about
items.
anything.
But I will say this is absolutely, and I'll use my one per episode because I like it that much. This is absolutely fucking amazing. Now, I'll read this to you. It says Gray Code, and this is where they're in between. There is no passion. I'm sorry, there is passion, but yet peace. There is strength, yet serenity. There is power, yet harmony. There is chaos, yet order. In life, there is freedom. In death, there is purpose. The Force is all things, and I am the Force. There's no absolute at all, because only the Sith deal in absolute. That's this Jedi Code, and then that's an absolute in itself. So the Jedi are already lost. This is absolutely awesome. Didn't cost much, guys. If you like Star Wars like I do, I think this size cost me $40. I think roughly, screen printed and delivered within just a short period of time. But that is going to go, right there for tonight. Yay! Got it working. It blocks out the whole ringlet I've got going on. But I'll find another place, most likely on the wall, and we'll get this all straightened out. But yeah, it's awesome. Love it. I don't know if you actually saw the Gray Code crest here. Oh, sorry. Way off base. There we go. Look at how bad that is. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Homegirl designed this stuff. I love it. Anyway, so getting back into our show tonight.
We have a show tonight?
We do. Yeah. I feel like we're like in that Wayne's World skit.
We do not bow down to corporate sponsors.
Oh man. But let's see.
Yeah, we certainly don't.
We really don't at all. We don't have any.
Right.
As we get to like a sponsor right now, is we're followed by Kevin Smith, and it might have been like a mercy follow for all we know. We don't know. Like,
Finally, I can do something, and I'm the only one.
he was our first subscriber. Here's my charity.
Well, we bend a knee at the altar of Smitty often enough. Scratch that, not nearly enough. Although, for those that watch or listen to the 1021 podcast, it's not really a well-kept secret that if there's even the slightest chance that I can fit a Kevin Smith movie on the list, it's going on.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be highly ranked.
Yep. Always, man. Oh, would it be? It's Kevin Smith. It's Kevin Smith. Who would not rank Kevin Smith at the top of the list always? But it's been an interesting week, right? Like we had a big movie release come out this week in the form of Super Mario Brothers.
No, that was last week.
Last week, rather. I'm sorry, last week. But throughout last week and this week, it's broken records. It's just selling left and right.
Mm-hmm. I believe
and there is
500 million at the box office.
Yeah, and there is barely an unkind word about it. And people are still buying tickets to see it. Again, it's still hard to get a ticket to see it. I'm sorry, not hard to get a ticket, but it's hard to get a ticket to a theater that's not sold out or almost sold out right now.
I don't know. My theater is pretty empty.
But I had to say, like, I think the Super Mario Brothers movie is the best video game adaptation movie that I've ever seen in my life. And there's a few that I'm fond of. There's a few that are more like Street Fighter or Double Dragon to me, or Mortal Kombat Annihilation. But with Mario Brothers, they actually did a damn good job in capturing everything that made the game special, creating a narrative out of it. And Jack Black absolutely stole the entire movie on any level imaginable, to me. His work as Bowser was very reminiscent to me as the work of the gentleman that played Kano in the 2021 Mortal Kombat movie. A character you never.
I've been trying to get on the show recently.
I would love that. And this is a character that you would never expect. Kano, like Bowser, is a character you would never expect to steal the show, because they've always been so one-dimensional in the approach of which they got them on, in these movies, right? Or cartoons, whatever. Even games. They've always been so one-dimensional.
Well, I'd say, for the games, but you got to give it up to the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. That gave Koopa a personality.
It did, but it's still like a very he had like a limited vision of what he wanted in the Super Show too. Even like in Super Mario Bros. 3, the cartoon, or in Super Mario World cartoon, he had a very limited eye for anything other than domination. In this one, it wasn't just domination, but he was more torn. There was so much to Bowser in this movie that made you actually kind of feel sorry for him. No, he was in love with Princess Peach. He loved Peach. Absolutely head over heels in love with her. He was not a happy character. And his happiness didn't stop at conquest. He just wanted to be loved. That's all he wanted. Like, just genuinely be loved.
Loved and rule.
Loved and rule, but the primary thing is he wanted to feel loved. He never felt that. And that's made clear at the end of the movie when he's fighting the Mario Brothers. And spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen, but it's Mario Brothers. Bowser's going to fight them eventually. And he says this whole line where it's like, it's time for you to suffer like me, which means in his mind, he's been suffering for however long now.
Mm-hmm.
But Jack Black, even like in the Peaches song that's gotten like a lot of fame on me as late, he did a great job with writing that song. And the fact that song is is in line for an Oscar nomination.
No, let's not get carried away.
I'm not joking.
It's not in line for an Oscar nomination.
People are talking about that. Okay, when I say in line, I mean people are saying that this should get an Oscar for Best Original Song.
It is eligible to be nominated.
Oh yeah, well I mean, if you
will
look
not.
at it though, if you look at Blame Canada from South Park, an Oscar.
I'm not saying it won't get a nomination because of the quality of the song. I'm basing it more on the fact that it is April, and there's 8 months, tons of musicals to go. So it has to not only survive all the other original songs throughout the year, but it also has to stay relevant in the zeitgeist until January.
Oh yeah, I'm saying with is I think the hysterical if they actually put that in, because with it being an original song for the movie, written and performed by Jack Black, this is a song that is absolutely eligible for an Oscar. So when I say in line, I'm not talking about it's it's already nominated or anything like that. It's again, it's way too
early. They don't announce that till January. That's a long ways off.
Yeah. But I'm saying it's the fact that it's even eligible for an Oscar because it's an original song in a movie. I think it'd be hysterical if this movie went in and it won an Oscar for Best Original Song.
Oh yeah, that would absolutely be hilarious.
And it's just Jack Black doing his thing, which means Jack Black is essentially an Oscar winner at that point.
Hey, if 3 6 Mafia can do it,
right? But yeah, it's. I personally loved how they did how they wrote the story. I love that Luigi was not just written as a cowardly person, but it was written as a character that stepped up to the plate. You get to meet Mario's entire family in the opening. I love all the callbacks, all the Easter eggs to old school Nintendo properties, from Kid Icarus to Donkey Kong, which is the game he's playing in the pizzeria, which they call Jumpman in the movie, but Jumpman was the name of Mario in that game. But it's Donkey Kong. The Punch-Out Pizzeria. You have all the characters from Nintendo's original Punch-Out game.
The Mario rap.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The opening commercial, man. You were in the yellow caves, laying on the stools and all that stuff, which is a callback to the Super Mario World. I was thrilled, dude. And I love the fact that when I was watching the first time, there's a picture of Yoshi's egg, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, "Oh, I wonder what Yoshi looks like in this." Well, you saw Yoshi's. There was a scene of them walking to Kong Island where you saw the Yoshis running in a herd. But it really was a great movie. I've already seen it twice. I intend to see it again. But we'll see. But
yeah, I think it's one of those movies that, like I said, I absolutely enjoyed the crap out of it. It was a fun watch. And I think more than anything, that's what it needed to be.
Yeah.
Is it the front runner for an Oscar at this point? I'd say, yeah, Best Animated Feature is not far fetched, unless we get another Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio type situation. Kind of comes from. Well, it's not that it came from nowhere, but I don't think people expected it to be good, if not great. But you get what I'm saying, right? Usually that's a category that's locked in for a Disney, Pixar, or, I'd say even an Illumination film, because Minions, they've made
they dominate
for themselves.
They dominate. Well, are you saying Pinocchio was just good?
No, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio was absolutely great.
Okay.
I didn't see it.
It was excellent.
I didn't before I watched it, I didn't see it being as great as it was. I was like, oh,
Gotcha.
it's a Pinocchio movie, not putting two and two together in my mind that, oh, it's Del Toro, so yeah, it's going to be pretty jacked up.
Which it
Pinocchio the
was.
Nazi.
It absolutely was very jacked up. But it was a brilliant, brilliant take on that character.
Yeah.
But much like with Mario, because like let's look at the history of video game movies, okay? Like just like
Okay.
off the top of my head, going from what I remember as a kid to adulthood, you had the Mario Brothers movie, right, in 1993. You had Street Fighter. You had Double Dragon. You had what was it? Then you went from like things like that. You moved on after a couple of years. Mortal Kombat was one of them. Mortal Kombat did an okay job. Mortal Kombat told a story, but because of when it was made, they're very much dated. It's not a bad movie. It's worth a watch.
It's one that I wouldn't mind Lucasing. Maybe they go back and kind of update the visuals a little bit because the story stands out.
Because like if you were to get like a more modern version of Reptile, like if you watch it again, Reptile is the worst part of the whole movie when he's like the reptile form. It's like the most unbelievable part of the whole movie. You have all this amazing CGI. Get rid of Reptile, and you get rid of the CGI animation of moving up to the top of the temple at the end of the movie.
Maybe do a little bit of work on Scorpions.
The fire breath, the skull, the spear.
Yeah,
all Scorpion. Fix him. Sub-Zero, flawless. You did a great job. Maybe update like the ice sphere a little bit, but the thing is still moving from there. Annihilation, no fixing. You can't fix that shit. It's that bad.
Delete.
Yes, get rid of. But then you have other movies like Alone in the Dark, House of the Dead, Tekken was another one. You had a second Street Fighter movie, The Legend of Chun-Li, which never should have been made. But you have all these movies that have come out.
Mm-hmm.
Even I'll even go so far as to say Sonic the Hedgehog. If you know the actual canonical history of Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie does nothing to approach it.
Right.
Have you ever heard the original history of Sonic, like how he came to be? With Dr. Kintobar, and he was not blue, he was brown initially, like a regular hedgehog. An experiment went awry. He got all this energy turned blue. Kintobar turned evil, cut off Robotnik instead, and built an army of robots who tried to capture the power of Sonic the Hedgehog to power his stuff. The movie was great. Don't get me wrong. Both movies actually were really entertaining. They were good. Thank God they redesigned Sonic. Because that first version, my God, that was nightmare fuel, man.
And good thing, Ugly Sonic landed on his feet in the Chippendales movie.
Yeah.
Glad to see he still got work.
Yeah. Like the FBI show, whatever it was. But then, like, after all these years, you finally have the biggest thing I think was Nintendo of all companies. Nintendo, who after Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario is in 1993, has absolutely refused to allow anyone to do anything related to their projects.
Well, after 93, I don't blame them.
Josh?
Yeah.
Huh?
I said after 93, I don't blame them.
Yeah. I can't tell if I'm losing you or if it's you.
Oh, no, it's not me. I have a steady full gigabit connection at all times with a wire.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Once again, ladies and
gentlemen. I feel like I'm talking to R2D2 right now. Give me 1 second here. Because you're freezing up. I don't know if it's you or me.
Well, it ain't me. I guess there is a way to figure this out to the live feed. So yeah, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, it's another wonderful night for the WADcast. Can someone donate like a long Ethernet cable to Brandon, please? That would be awesome. Because it's getting a little weird. And we lost. All right. Well, no, maybe he's back. Are you back?
There we go. Okay, got it. Sorry, the Ethernet cable came out. I didn't realize it came out.
Oh, you have a cable. That is.
Yes, but it's back. It's a bad connection, so it might be on the laptop. But what were we talking about?
Video game movies.
I know specifically. Where did we leave off? I think it was like it was Sonic, right? Or
yeah, you were talking about the history of Sonic.
Okay. Well, either way, it's like, so Robotnik was Dr. Kintabar. He did an experiment on Sonic, who was brown. It blew up. Sonic turned blue, got superpowers, and Kintabar turned into Dr. Robotnik, which is Kintabar backwards, and tried to absorb Sonic's powers. That was the whole history of Sonic. What they did for the movie it was cool. You have a dimension jumping hedgehog.
Mm-hmm.
Not like make something of that, right? But they did a great job for what they had with that movie. And Jim Carrey, although he's not a big plump guy, in the first movie did a great job with Dr. Robotnik before he turned super psychotic. And then in the second movie, even though he wasn't a plump guy, he still rocked it. Absolutely owned that character.
Really dark place.
Absolutely. But even then, like the way that they had Dr. Robotnik carry himself in the movie was absolutely insanely brilliant and hysterical. Like when he's in like the giant, like super Robotnik suit right at the end of Sonic 2. And when he's talking to him, you see like the character doing the mannerisms that you would see actually Jim Carrey doing.
Sorry.
But even the robot getting winded at one point, like when he's like just like doing the whole like over the top running bit, and then you have like the whole thing that's like resting on his knees, he's like just like breathing, and it was great. He did a great job. But with Super Mario Brothers, they legitimately took even like Easter eggs from the movie, being underground, trying to fix a leak across from a gap, and they couldn't fix it, and they end up getting sucked, into another world. The way they did the whole movie, it was nothing but respect to so many properties. And the power-ups, the way they did the power-ups, like, Princess Toadstool, Princess Peach, like touching the fire flower for a second, you hear the power-up, right? You hear, and then when the flame comes into her hand, you hear like the whole, the old school sound effect they use for Mario 1 whenever he throws a fireball.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot there. Spike was the original antagonist for Mario and Luigi way back in the day. He was the original antagonist back when they were like, I forget the name of it, but I think it was called Construction Crew or Wrecking Crew or something like that. The very first ever appearance of Mario and Luigi.
Yeah.
But Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, all that stuff that they did to like pay homage to those old school games. That was awesome. I enjoyed it.
No, I think something that's not really getting the credit that it deserves is just the animation alone.
Oh yeah, the color grading, dude.
Funny you mentioned that, because the one scene that like absolutely blew my mind was when Peach is in the dress, the
wedding dress, or the
well, I didn't want to say it, but yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, it's going. Yeah, sorry. Spoilers, guys. This is a week old now.
white dress except for the bottom where it's pink, but
Yeah.
the way that the colors sort of merged with it was almost seamless. There was no differentiation from the color grading. It just seamlessly flowed from the pink to the white. I was like, how in the hell?
Oh yeah. And it's like you saw that, but the thing is, you saw that a lot in the movies. What I really like is I was curious as to how they were going to explain the whole the hat with the logo or the initial on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it explains in the opening movie that these are their own personal uniforms for their own private business as brothers. Like, oh well, like oh you're wearing gloves, like like, take your like, and they make fun of that, like you're wearing gloves, like well yeah, it's all part of the uniform.
It's their signature.
Yeah, their signatures, like yeah, it's like so it's like there's a lot that they put into this. And you know what? My favorite part of the whole movie. It's so stupid, but it's my favorite part.
Hmm.
There is a scene where after and let's we don't need a spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen, because if you watch a trailer, you see Koopa captures a star. That's not like 120 stars and 64 or anything like that. It is flat out one star. It's a superstar. Hell, in the trailer, he says, "Now who's going to stop me? Whatever. Like I've got the star, the star." Um, so he brags to the entire army, right? The
Yeah.
Goombas, the Koopa Troopas, the Spinies, all of them. Brags to them about how he's going to propose to Peach, and she hates him, but that's what makes him love her more. But once she sees that star, game over. She's got to say yes, and whatever. My favorite part is like this one Koopa Troopa. This one Koopa Troopa is like, what if she says no? It's like just shoots him with flames and kills him. It turns into like one of the bones like Koopa Troopers, like the dead ones that you jump on the head, they fall apart and they come back together. Like once he did that, I bust out laughing. There's this guy next to me in the theater that was laughing almost as hysterically as I was the entire movie and getting as excited as I was with the entire movie. This is honestly like one of those things where I felt like for the first time in my adult life, I honestly felt like I was back to being a kid watching a Saturday morning cartoon again, being excited about not knowing where it was going to go. If that makes sense to you.
I'll take you back just a few seconds, having that same feeling where Koopa's, talking about, we're going to go in and dominate and blah 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 blah, doing his speech to get the troops riled up.
Yeah, yeah,
and talking about how he's going to take over the Mushroom Kingdom, and then he busts out with, and then Princess Peach will marry me, and everyone's like, yeah, wait, what?
Yeah, doesn't she hate you? Yeah, she hates me, but that makes me love her more. He was such a broken character. Like
I didn't see it coming.
There's a group. There's a. Oh yeah. I love that too. When he's practicing the proposal on the sorcerer guy who's dressed up as Peach, just like in the games, and the one Koopa Troopa storms in, is like, just slams on the door. Your Highness, and they both turn around. What? It was so. It's like he interrupted an intimate moment. It was so stupid. It was great, but oh man, like I'm probably going to go see it like a third and fourth time here. I mean, I've got the AMC pass, so why the hell not, right?
Yeah, that's I don't use mine nearly enough to justify it at this point because I still have yet to see Scream 6 or John Wick 4 or.
I'm going to go see Scream 6 and John Wick 4 this next week. So I may leave work early tomorrow to go see Scream 6 because I hear I have to go see it in the theaters like I had to go see Avatar 2 in theaters. Guess what? Avatar 2 in theaters is a waste of time and money.
Well,
But
people told me I had to see Avatar 2 in theaters, and you know what I said? No.
it sucks.
I said no.
It's very underwhelming. But we're
I
not here
still
for
haven't.
James Cameron. We're here for
Yeah,
Mario.
Mario.
And the fact they even brought the voice actor back from, and you know what? In Movie Addiction, you saw the post that I mentioned way back when I said that I don't believe Chris Pratt can do this, right? I wasn't too thrilled about Chris Pratt. I take back everything
Right.
I said. He did a great job. Um, Thinking back, hearing like the whole, I've recently played Mario 64 on this TV right behind me, and hearing the whole "It's a me, Mario," like I. I've heard Mario joke like that a few times. Chris Pratt making that voice in the movie, and I'm like, this would be very infuriating to listen to for like an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes straight. Like
Yeah.
bad. But 1 second here.
I have a question though.
But yeah, what's up?
I've seen on a couple of different posts in the group that some people are saying that Disney is gonna be angry about Mario's success or something along those lines. And I couldn't
Well, I
quite
think
understand why Disney would be upset.
well, not a matter of being upset. It's a matter of like actually giving them a run for the money. Because,
But it's not.
well, let's be honest though, Disney when it comes to like their actual newer movies that's coming out, like, and I was newer is a huge word to use because they're all remakes. They're all the live action. All the movies that they've come out with in the last couple of years have been live action remakes.
That's not
That's it.
true.
What movies have been released in theaters, not streaming, theaters that
Encanto?
were not okay? Outside of that, that were not live action remakes.
Hold on, let me pull up their slate.
But the thing is like the storyline, the story wise. Have you watched the live action version of Lion King? Simba doesn't even react when Mufasa dies.
It's not live action. I don't care what
Okay,
anybody
this
says.
CGI cartoon, the CGI cartoon that he watches, that like of Lion King. You're right, it's not live action, but the CGI cartoon version, like the live action version of Lion King, when Mufasa falls to his death, Simba does not react at all. Just watches, like, oh. In the cartoon, is more emotional because his ears tucked back and mouth drops, like, oh my god, my dad's dying. This new one is like, huh, it's so cold, but it's based off of a giant cat, and cats, regardless of sizes, are assholes, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So they made the Lion King characters and the fake live action version had the mannerisms and looks and emotions of an actual bigger cat, which made them borderline completely emotionless altogether. It was more creepy than anything else for me. The only saving grace is that like James Earl Jones came back to voice Mufasa one last time.
All right, you ready?
Hmm.
Okay, let's see. Strange World.
Yep, that was straight to streaming, though not theatrical release.
That was a theatrical release.
Okay, it was theatrical and streaming at the same time, so
Nope.
not much though. But okay,
Strange World had a
was it
standalone theatrical
theatrical? There was
release.
no market. There was no marketing for that then for theatrical. Like
Not
none,
much.
barely any. I didn't know it was even theatrical until today. I thought it was like direct. That's why I heard about like in the streaming services. Okay, what else?
Do-
Encanto Luca,
Lightyear,
which like hit,
of course.
con-
What's that?
yeah, okay. Failed theatrically. Failed, bombed. But again,
And those were
marketing
their two
sucks.
animated features released last year.
Okay, and Encanto was the year or like the year or the 2 years
Yeah, the year
before
before with
that.
Luca
Okay,
and
okay,
Raya and the Last
and
Dragon.
Luca,
And
okay.
yeah,
And I'll even like attribute those losses to COVID because a lot of people were still not too sure about going back to theaters at that time when those were released. So any money they made was on the back end on Disney Plus, most of it. But with Super Mario Brothers, honestly, like if I were James Cameron, I'd be shitting bricks right now because all Super Mario Brothers has to do to catch up with Avatar is to re-release once or twice.
we're
That's
released
it,
in Japan.
or release in Japan
I don't
or
think it's released
China.
in Japan yet. That's what I hear.
But it's like all we have right now are the which is 500 million domestically, right?
According to Box Office Mojo, it is officially at 447, $811,605 worldwide. Although I have seen some articles stating that it has crossed the $500 million mark.
Uh, uh going on,
It has
but
not
okay,
released
like
in
thing was like
China
just
or
still
Japan.
and
This
give it
thing
time.
has not.
I know we have a
has
little.
not
I know
peaked. Although
it's not slowing down at all.
oh wait, no, it did. It did hit China. April 5th. So far, about
When?
$11 million.
Okay,
Japan, it releases April 28th.
okay, but I still say like give it time.
Nintendo, Japan,
Time.
yeah, it's gonna be
Because James Cameron had to get to monumental out there. Mario Brothers is a massive cultural thing in Japan. It's a big part, and all the throwbacks to
absolutely.
other movies, all the throwbacks to other movies. I'm sorry, like between Mario Brothers One, Mario Brothers Two, the real Mario Brothers Two, which is called American, the Lost Levels for the what do you call it? The Nintendo Super Mario Brothers collection,
The
right?
All Stars.
And All Stars, yes, Super Mario Bros. All Stars, and then you had Mario Brothers 3. It has elements of all of those games, along with Super Mario World, along with other future games on top of that, like Mario Brothers Wii. You know, like the opening scene where he's like in Mushroom Kingdom, you have those giant ass things like I guess doing like little like that's in the middle and the long legs, and it's like a slinky kind of deal. Those are
Mm-hmm.
newer characters. This is a movie that I don't see is slowing down anytime soon. And then you look at the attention that that I was seeing Super Nintendo World getting at Universal. People are going to want to go see this movie again because of what they saw at Super Nintendo World. Like if I were James Cameron, I'd be very, very disappointed. Now, will it cross $2 billion? Probably not. But the only reason why James Cameron has gotten so high in his numbers is because his movies are being re-released every couple years. Avatar got so much money because it's been re-released 3 times, I think. And it was not within competition of any other major movies that were out.
Yeah, Avatar 2 especially had a pretty blank slate until I guess Quantum Mania.
Yeah.
And that went exactly.
And then once Quantum Mania came out, like, yeah.
Wait,
And ultimately,
didn't Megan
great
dethrone
movie, but
Avatar?
Megan did a lot. Megan drew a lot of attention away from Avatar because Avatar was in the theaters for like a couple weeks at that point.
I think
And people were
Megan
like, "Oh,
took
there's a
the
new
top
movie to go
spot that
see."
weekend.
Yeah, but Megan comes out, and James Cameron's like, "Oh, well, we did good, and I'm going to oh, it'll catch back up." Like, well, no, it won't. Your movie's old now. James Cameron is stuck in Avatar world now. He's in quicksand. I don't think he's going to get any
Until
better
he
anytime soon.
dies.
He is the next J.K. Rowling, George R.R. Martin. He is going to die doing this series. He's going to run it into the ground to where it's no longer special. And
You
even
will
now, it's not
never see
special.
the end of it.
Ever. Because he's going to want more technology to catch up.
So you don't think Renfield's going to be
No.
taking that top spot?
Nope. At all. I love Nicolas Cage. I do.
A lot of people do.
I don't care for Nicholas Hoult.
Okay.
I think he is bland at best. And it's like watching Shia LaBeouf act. Like, it's the same ticks. It's like Kristen Stewart, like when she first started acting, and she always huffing and puffing and scratching her head. You see the same shit over and over again. How many times can you watch this person do this? Like, okay, Kristen Stewart, she's always like this really troubled and like maligned teen, and she doesn't fit in, and she's got a sloppy home life, and blah blah. Shia LaBeouf, he's always fast talking. He's always got a quip. His eyes are always jetting everywhere, like just like he's always looking at the things behind the person he's talking to, and back at the person. Back that he's like always distracted. Nicholas Hoult, he's pretty, and that's it. He's a good-looking guy. He stutters a lot.
I never remember who he is.
Beast from X-Men.
Okay.
He was the very stuck-up food snob date from The Menu.
The Menu, yeah.
But just look back at these roles, and you'll realize he stutters in every one of these roles. He's always trying to find his wording and everything else. Even in Mad Max Fury, same thing. He's trying to find his wording. I've watched the previews for Dracula. I'm sorry, Rainfield. I've seen it a few times now, where he stutters before he even gets out of the sentence at all. He just starts stuttering. Like, oh, okay. We're just going to keep doing this, huh? All right. Nicolas Cage. I think if there's any reason to go see this movie, it'd be because of his version of Dracula. But it's also Nicolas Cage. And as much as I adore Nicolas Cage, I just don't see this being a great movie at all. I see it bombing absolutely. But
Apparently
Peter Keyes
had pretty good previews.
Yeah. Well, Peter Keyes, who we've actually he's written like 1 or 2 reviews for us before. He says it's something you have to go see in theaters. You have to go see it. I just don't see it. I don't see what the appeal is for me to go see this movie. So
You have the AMC pass. That's all the reason you need.
Yeah. That is how I went to go see Pet Sematary back in 2019. The AMC pass.
So it looks like Mario has at most 3 weeks.
Okay.
To rake in as much as it can. And then that's when Disney hits with Guardians.
Yep. And that was a good trailer too. Let's face it. Like you've seen you saw the same trailer I did for Guardians.
Yeah.
Where they're like back on that like Earth-looking planet. The girl giggles and she tosses Drax the ball. He picks up, he nails her in the head with it. Wham!
You know what? I'm even going to say this. I absolutely was into the Marvels trailer. Kind of dropped from nowhere.
Did not see that one yet, actually. I just read about it tonight.
I really enjoyed it, especially as it I think it does what a trailer should do, and that's kind of not give you the entire movie, but
Yeah.
at least catch you up on the things that you should know.
And then leave it ominous after that.
You find
But
out what happened to Kamala and Danvers, and find out where each of them went, and it shows you that they're going to find each other, and they're going to have one of those fun relationships.
yeah. But that's the thing, though. It's like, and that's how, like, that's where a lot of these movies go wrong with their trailers because they give away everything in the trailers, all of it. Um, I remember seeing like the Child's Play remake trailer,
Mm-hmm.
and there's this scene in the trailer where Chucky's launching himself at somebody, and he's got like that really angry face, like glowing red eyes. I'm like, this like, oh, this is where he dies in the movie. The mother being lifted up on the forklift. I'm like, oh, this is where this all ends. Like, okay. And that was what the movie, that's where it ended. Like, just like that one scene. Movie trailers, rather, most times these days give away too damn much.
So I still won't watch Shutter Island.
Because of the trailer, right?
It's like I already saw it.
Yeah.
And I think the one that really demonstrates this, the one that made me realize, wow, this is getting out of hand, was maybe you remember this one, Enough.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Jennifer Lopez, right?
Yeah, it shows that she's in an abusive relationship. It's like, okay, and then it shows her basically saying, I've had enough, and start to train. I'm like, okay, and then it shows her like beating the crap out of someone, and it's like, I guess I've seen the movie now.
And you know what? Also, another movie that gave it away that you never thought that would give it away, because you're thinking that you're going to see such a badass scene, was The Gray with Liam Neeson.
With Liam Neeson.
Yeah,
Yes.
that last scene in the trailer when he's like
Man versus
holding
Wolf.
up his fists and he's got like the broken bottles and everything else, and he's holding
Yeah.
the knife. You're like, oh my god, he's going to fight a pack of wolves. To find out that's the last scene of the whole damn movie. Like, you son of a bitch. Well, who won? Well, they're both still breathing at the end, like in the end credits scene. So the wolf stops breathing. You think Liam Neeson's dead. You see like a puff of like just mist come out of his mouth. You're like, oh, okay.
You know what?
That was a fight scene. Like, okay, that sucks.
And I do want to touch on something else tonight, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead. What's up?
Much to the delight of some.
Yep.
I have started watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Right? It's awesome, isn't it?
Let me share to you, because my sister hasn't watched it. And she's saying the same thing that I said. People telling her to watch it. This is what I wrote to her about it. I said,
she's going to love it or absolutely hate it.
Yeah. And anyway, this is what I wrote. I said, it took me a while to really get on board considering the gratuitous amounts of racist, homophobic, and misogynistic language used throughout the series. But once I got the joke, once I understood the perspective, it all came together. There are moments of absolute brilliance that drive home everything wrong with America as well as society as a whole, all done through the eyes of terrible people, much more akin to episodes of Seinfeld if Seinfeld were on crack.
Yeah. Yeah, like, and listen, I like your sister. Okay, your sister is a brilliant person. Like I adore Betty. I really do. Uh, I know that I made a joke a while back, like left her unnerved. I'm not going to get into it, but misunderstand, deleted the joke, but it wasn't like it was just really taken
It
out
wasn't
of
malicious. It
context.
was
So with
just,
how she,
yeah,
no, no, it was no, by no means wasn't malicious. I still look back at it and think like I took it down out of respect for her, while completely
right.
disagreeing with anything that I was told it might be like as far as an attack on the gay community. I I whatever. So with this show, it's much like that joke. Very much like that joke. The very first episode, actually, of the show is exactly that joke. The whole episode, the gang gets racist, where they turn Patty's Pub into a gay bar, and Dennis is just loving the attention he's getting to the point where he's even acting gay to get better tips. It's messed up. But these guys are absolutely the show. They're all, every one of them, none of them care about the other person at all. They're all narcissists to the most extreme levels. Like you said, it's Seinfeld and crack.
The thing to remember, the biggest difference between the joke made and that episode was that Dennis was called out for it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it was acknowledged that what he was doing was really skeezy.
Yep. No, I agree with you. I'm just saying, it's like one of those stories. It's like, still, it is a show at its core that is about four, well, technically five, rather, absolutely horrible people. Six, if you ever include Cricket, who started off in a very good place. He was a priest, and look what knowing these people did to him.
Yeah, yeah. I look at it a lot like All in the Family was,
Oh yeah, yeah,
except this show is nothing but Archie Bunkers, and the idea is that they're terrible
yeah.
and they're
That's
not to be liked. They're not to be emulated.
no. Like, but there are some. There are some, what season and episode are you on right now?
Season 15.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're just plowing through it, huh?
Yeah.
This is why I can't get you on the phone this week, huh?
A lot of it has to do with that. Yeah. You started it.
I did recommend this to him for a while, ladies and gentlemen. I told Josh for a long time that he needs to watch the show. That he owes it to himself, but it does not say anywhere that you are to ignore my calls, Josh.
Well, no, you call when I'm at work and I can't answer.
Then you call me back after you're off work, you bastard. I feel like we don't love each other anymore. Like mom and dad are fighting on the internet now.
Shut up and make me a sandwich.
Thought you loved me. No. Get your ass in the kitchen, make me a sandwich. You're the one that's domesticated with kids and all.
Oh, I see how it is.
On that note, though.
No.
What?
Because I brought up It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia because I wanted to make a point.
Let's make a point. Go ahead.
All right. For
woman,
I'm just going to say 12, 13 years.
Okay.
That this show's on the air. Yeah, I watched.
Oh, longer than that. 2005, man.
I'm getting to something.
Okay, go ahead.
I say that because, I'm watching everything all at once. So I'm going to divide it by the years and kind of put it into perspective.
Okay.
I'm watching this show and I see a lot of, awesome moments, right? Stuff that, by the way, for those wondering, You know what? That's no one would believe it. Anyway, there's one episode in particular that not only stands out, but it absolutely destroyed all notions of what I had about the show.
Okay.
Do you have any idea? Could you possibly guess what episode that is?
Was it the one where Mac is performing his dance in prison?
Mac finds his pride. Yes.
The final scene, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. That's the one I was telling you about. That's
That's
the
the
one
one
that is the one I wanted to get your opinion on, because for the first 10 plus years, the show makes nothing but a joke of Mac's sexuality.
Mm-hmm. Even this episode.
This episode does too. But you finally have one character outside of Mac, and it's not the character Mac's trying to get through to, which is his dad. It's the most uncaring character in the entire show that finds it to be this brilliant and beautiful performance who gets it finally.
I read an article, sort of a review about it, and it says that, for the first 15 minutes of the show, it is still kind of that one note, make fun of Mac, and, kind of, even to an extent, make light of, him being gay.
Yeah.
To the point where they're like, oh, we'll just get Cricket to be the token gay guy on the float.
Yep.
And they surmised it perfectly when they said, and then it hits that 16-minute mark.
Yep.
And it just begins with one line where Max says, "Dad, I'm gay." And then lights out. And then when the lights come back on again, you are no longer in this world that you've been accustomed to for a decade plus.
Yeah, for years it's a fucking dude, the cinematography and the choreography for that whole thing. The lighting.
It is they even tied the whole thing because the rain machine was going to be on the float.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, no, they snatched it for Mac's performance.
Yep.
And throughout the episode, Mac completely changes, does just this weird thing where what did he say? I wish I remembered what he said, but he's trying to explain how it feels to be who he is.
Yeah.
Especially with the people that he's with and the way he grew up.
Yeah.
And it kept coming back down to, this dream or something about dancing with a woman who was God or whatever the case may be. And then to see it in come to life. And like you said, a beautifully shot dance sequence.
Oh yeah, dude.
That for the last
this show,
the last 5 minutes of the show,
of all shows,
nothing, no jokes. There was no punchline. This was just
there was
genuine.
one line. There was one line at the end of this show, and from what I understand, it's because no one was there. Like, listen, here, ladies and gentlemen, the way TV and movies are filmed, there are some scenes that are filmed on a closed set. The whole dance number was very much a closed set. No one was there. No one. Just Mac and the girl. Obviously, like the lighting and stuff like that, but as far as cast goes, no one else. Not a single person. That's why it's all completely black. That entire dance number, it is black, right?
Yeah.
Danny DeVito and everyone else watched this for that one reaction of Danny DeVito, where he's like, I get it. That was a genuine reaction from Danny DeVito, which is why it was out of character for Frank. But also, while out of character, a beautiful reaction from Frank.
His exact quote was, "Oh my God, I get it. I get it."
Yeah. And he's here.
And Brandon froze up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, can you hear me
you're
okay?
back. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. The part that got me the most from that whole number was when the dancer goes running towards Mac with such speed and ferocity. He catches her, and you hear her grunt because she hits him just so hard. And then they fall to the ground, and he breaks down crying. And she's just telling him it's okay. This is not a scene you would ever expect watching the first 10 plus years of It's Always Sunny, the first 14 seasons of the show to ever see in this show. Because it has always treated Mac as his sexuality as this joke in this show.
Yeah.
And this is if there's ever a moment in television history that I think takes someone that is so terrified to come out of the closet to find the strength to do it, of all the shows that have existed in decades now that shows this strength, this is the best iteration of a character showing, as society calls, his truth. I think best way to put it, right? Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And the acceptance of one of the most unaccepting people in the show.
And just
moved to tears.
It's not that, Frank's always like, look, I don't have a problem with you liking dudes. I just don't get it. He says that several times throughout the episode that, you do you, but I don't get it. I don't understand what it means. And then, the number, it breaks through to him, and it was so damn beautiful. And you know what? It kind of put into perspective to me a little bit the physical transformation that, happened with Mac, where he went from just, kind of a little bit of a buff dude to be becoming ripped.
Oh yeah.
And to see his body with this lighting and the way the shadows and the light played across each other.
Oh, he was TV's Ryan Reynolds, man.
It was. I had no idea that this crew was capable of that.
Oh yeah. And to think, just 3 seasons beforehand, he was a big old fat guy because that was just a joke he wanted to make in the show.
And you know what? Honestly, I think the only other, I keep saying that this was the first genuine. I think the only other genuine moment I can think of when he actually came out. What was it for the lottery ticket?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. The Ass Blaster 5000 or something like that.
No, it's an exercise bike.
It's like, oh look, you're riding. You want to sit down? Oh, you can't. It just pushes you forward.
But at the very end, when everyone's like, "Okay, Mac, you can just go back in the closet now. You got your money. You got what you wanted," and he just says, "No, I think I'm going to stay out," and just walks off.
Yeah, I was going to say, at the end, that's the episode where he admits that he's actually gay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the second time that he admits it, because the other time he was like,
the cruise.
yeah, he's like, nope,
Yeah, well,
because God proved that he was real, and God would never make me gay. I must not be gay.
Yeah.
But for the lottery ticket, he's like, I think I'm just going to stay out now.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever get a chance, if you can take some really dark, twisted humor and appreciate it for the satire that it is, you owe it to yourself to watch the show. Absolutely owe it to yourself. Is it kind of gross to watch at times? Yes, absolutely it is. Is it very offending? Yeah, unapologetically so. It very much is offensive as all hell. I would even go so far as to say it's like right on line with South Park's level of offensiveness at times. But
somehow the live action makes it worse.
Yeah, like cartoons one thing, but like seeing it actually like played up by real people acting this way. Mac talking about finding Dennis's tapes that he had where he filmed himself having sex with women, right? And does this one movie is like, who wants to see this? Like, that's all these tapes are. Just talk about his southern areas slapping against another woman's.
Because of the implication.
Yeah, the implication. There's a lot here, but the show is absolutely amazing. It didn't even take its time to get offensive. The very first episode, just like right out the gate, let's just piss people off, man. That's my sister. Well, you mean your sister, or like your hood sisters? Like my sister. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, we're asking because like you said that about other black girls before. Like it's such a messed up episode. Funny, but messed up. But yeah,
we need to get this dog an abortion.
Oh God.
I thought you were all pro-life. I am, but this affects me.
Oh God. Dennis going to the pro-life rally to try to take up women, or pro-choice rally to pick up women. And then he's like, oh, Mac's like, oh, there's a lot of hotter girls over here. He's like, okay, I'm coming over. He starts climbing the fence just to pick up women at a rally. Oh God. These people are horrible people. That's all it is to it. I would go so far as to say that Mac is probably like the best person out of all of them.
And that's terrible.
That's bad because Mac is still a very bad person. But on that note, I do have to get going. It is getting kind of late here. But yeah. It's good seeing your face, seeing your mouth move.
I'm here every week.
Yeah, I know, so am I. But it's like I haven't heard your voice in a few days because someone doesn't return my phone calls. Ooh.
Well, I don't know who that is.
His name rhymes with Bosch. Bosch Kitty.
Daniel Tosh?
Bosch Kitty. Like Josh Chitty. Either way. So, ladies and gentlemen, B Jacksman 1982. We're going to have the WADcast website back up in the near future. So we just got to get that all situated now. It's with a new provider. But aside from that, yeah, everything else is still the same. So, yeah, give us a follow. Go to the WADcast at Facebook and Instagram. Just type in the WADcast in the search bar. It's got to be the WADcast, and you'll see our logo. It's the black circle with a white banner that says the WADcast in it. Give us a like, give us a follow. We have announcements every week about our upcoming episodes, or just an occasional meme just to make you laugh and brighten your day for a little bit, usually movie related. And that's really it. But I do have to get going. Josh, you are beautiful as always. Oh, look at your face. Those eyebrows. You cutie. Okay. You guys have a great night. Happy Friday night. I'm going to let Josh have the final words here. And I'll see you guys next week.
Get out. All right, kids. Hey, how's it going? Whew. Brandon certainly said a mouthful there, didn't he? Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about WADcomedia.com. That's, right there. WADcomedia.com is the company that provides you with all of these fabulous podcasts, including the WADcast and 1021, as well as the Storytellers Power Hour. All available where fine podcasts are sold. They give it away for free. But WADcomedia.com is the place to find all of the links to the pertinent socials. That's to the WADcast. That's 1021. That's to Wadco Media, where all the shows are posted to watch in video form like this. And of course, everything is available to download where all fine podcasts are sold. But they're given away for free. Anywho, there's also a Patreon there, which, if you're feeling up to it, if you're feeling frolicky, you want to give us a little tip for what we do, sure, you can do that. But I recommend going to the merchandise page. Yeah, we get less money in the long run, but I'd prefer you have something tangible in your hands to kind of show for the money that you wanted to kind of give to the cause. So that's the preferred method. Go to the merch shop, get a t-shirt, get a mug, get a sticker. It's all there. Several wonderful designs. I know the designer personally, and what can I say? I'm a fan. With that being said, now that you have all of that wonderful information, it's time for this week's final message. And this week's final message is the same as last week's, and the same before, and the 100 plus that have come before it. And that is, the only thing standing between you and your dreams is you. That's right. You are getting in your own way. If you want to be a writer, then you have to start writing. Point blank. Simple as that. Doesn't matter if it's in a several $100, software, like something, or it could just be in your word process. It could be typewriter, pen and paper. You got pen and paper? Start writing stuff down. You have a phone and you want to direct? Well, there you go. You can just start filming stuff, because it's really that simple. If you want to create, you don't need to ask permission. Just do it. And as time goes on, you'll do it better and better. The worst art is the art that you don't create. That's what it all comes down to. So get out there, get creating, be awesome. And one more quick note: we have been in communication with someone, and we are looking to have a guest on soon. More on that as things get finalized, so keep an eye out for that announcement. Whew, that does it. Number 126 is in the books, and it was a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun tonight. The WADcast, always a good time. So until next week at Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. For the WADcast, I am Josh. Brandon's the guy that left. So we will see you next week.